Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about some of the miracle stories that are happening right here in our own city, in our own state, every day. My name is Tony Kausha, and the title of our show is Tony's 50,000 Coincidence Miracles. Please note, this show is not about religion, and we're not trying to change anyone's religion, and we're not trying to get you to join any religion. It's just about miracle stories. I don't know of any religion on the planet that doesn't talk about miracles. That's why religions begin, because they have something that's telling them there's really a God. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to just talk about miracles and leave the decisions about all that up to you. So we don't care what religion you are. We just want to talk about miracles. If you are an atheist, I think you'll enjoy the program as well, although I can't guarantee you'll remain an atheist very long after you hear many convincing stories, coincidence kinds of stories about miracles. You can email me your own stories if you wish. We'll try to use all we can on the show. I can't guarantee we will, depending on volume and time, but you're welcome to send your stories on to us, and we will mention them when we can. You can send them to the following email address. But please notice that if we do use your story, we won't mention your name. We'll keep you anonymous. And we suggest that in your story, when you send it to us, don't use your correct name. That way anyone listening will not be able to figure out that it was you that sent the story in. The email address you can send your stories to is very easy to remember. It consists of 2 words and 3 numbers. The first word is Tony, spelled Tony, and the second word is and, spelled A-N-D, and the numbers are 777. So once again, the name is Tony and 777 at AOL.com. Well, let us begin. This is week number 53, and our first coincidence miracle has to do with me writing something to post to my Facebook account and my LinkedIn account to post for people to see. I was inspired by God to draft a message, which you probably have heard a lot about on the prior week's recordings. But the message was that Luke 10:24 and Luke 10:42 tells us that we need to ask God what to do. It's very important. We need to ask Him. And after we ask Him what to do, then pay attention to the inspirations and the ideas that we get. After we ask Him what to do, then He responds, and He responds most likely through inspiring us with different ideas on what He wants us to do. And when it's not clear, then you ask Him for clarification, and then He clarifies that. So it works like mental telepathy. When we talk to God, we ask Him through our mind, and He responds into our inspirations and our ideas. So I wrote up the narrative, and then I did post it. And when I was all done posting it, I went to put the radio on to listen to the news at that hour. And I turned the radio on, but it was a little bit early. And as I turned the radio on, once again, as you've heard in prior weekly recordings, I was blessed again with another coincidence miracle, because there was a record being sung before the news started. And the record that was being sung, the title of it is He's Everything You Want, and it's sung by an outfit called the 3 Doors. 3 Doors. So once again, it's He's Everything You Want, and it's being sung by the 3 Doors. Now, I didn't catch all of the comments. I was very impressed by a few of the comments in the song and the beautiful lyrics and the melody, but I couldn't keep up with all of them because I was getting excited about how they were confirming what I just written on Facebook and LinkedIn. So I didn't have the time to carefully pay attention to the lyrics. So God inspired me to Google and look up the lyrics for the song. And so I did, and I was really blown away, because here's what the lyrics to the song say. Now, I just want to remind you, I just finished posting on Facebook and LinkedIn telling people that all of us need to ask God questions, ask Him what to do, and then do what He inspires us and do what He puts into our ideas. And here's what the lyrics to the song say. He's everything you want. He's everything you need. He's everything inside. He always says the right thing and exactly at the right time. And then it goes on to say that all over again, but instead of saying He is everything, what it says is I'm everything. So it says I'm everything you want, I'm everything you need, I'm everything inside of you. So this beautiful song starts out somebody saying that He is, indicating God is, everything you want and need. And then it repeats the lyrics, but instead of saying He is, it says I am, which indicates that God is singing the song to us, and God is saying, I'm everything you need. And then it closes, the concluding lyric says, but I mean nothing to you, and I don't know why. I mean nothing to you, and I don't know why. And then he says, I don't know why again, and the record ends. So this was a beautiful confirmation for me. I hope it's meaningful to you. But I had just written to a lot of people telling them that we do need to pay attention to God and listen to the inspirations and ideas He sends us. And as I go turn the radio on for the news, because I was inspired to do that, that's why I went to do it, and because God inspired me, He knew that that song was sitting there, which absolutely confirms what I had just written. And I have to tell you, I got goosebumps. I was so excited. I get coincidence miracles all the time, and you would think I'm accustomed to them, but I don't want to be accustomed to them. I want to be excited. And in this particular case, my head was beginning to spin. I was so excited and overjoyed. After all of this, I was feeling extremely blessed, and I was inspired to come away for my daily walk and talk with God. So I got ready, got into the car, and drove off to the park. When the weather is nice, I go out to a park and walk and talk with God, something like a half an hour break of praying and talking and listening to Him and getting inspirations for all kinds of things. So I went, and as usually happens to me, when I'm inspired to go to a church or to a park to spend time with God, I often see clues and signs on the way over, and I'm getting inspired to notice them. I'll be driving along, and I'll be inspired to look at the oncoming car and look at its license plate or what make or model car it is. And the license plates, as you know from prior weekly talks, God speaks to us often with numbers, and my books explain the meaning of numbers. And so it's like Morse code. God, there's a lot of different numbers mean a lot of things, and once you get to know what the basic numbers are, you can see that God is talking to you when certain numbers arrive or when you see numbers in certain places in certain ways. So as I was driving over to have this prayer time with God, the first car I saw coming toward me, its license plate had 555, that's 3 5s, and it means the presence of God. And then a couple of cars later, the car coming toward me was the number 333 was 3 number 3s on that license plate, and that's symbolic of the Blessed Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And then the last car I saw just before I got to the park, at the last intersection before the park, the last car I saw was pretty amazing. Its license plate ended with the letter U, and the next letter was Y, and the next letter was Y. So the letters were UUY, 2 U's and 1 Y. And that's very significant as well, because the letter U is the 21st letter of the alphabet, so the letter U signifies 3 7s. And so I was seeing a license plate with UU, which means 3 7s twice, and the letter Y is the 25th letter of the alphabet, and that signifies 5 number 5s, which is glorious because 3 5s were the first number. I saw 3 5s, which is the number for God's grace, and now I saw the letter Y, which signifies 5 5s, So in total, I've seen 8 5s on this trip. So, I've been doing this for a long time. In the last 30 years, I've seen a lot of numbers, and I know the pattern. It's not like I just woke up yesterday and started seeing numbers and I'm making all this up. I've done a lot of research, and that's what those numbers mean. And it's God communicating to us that we're on the right path, that you did leave your house at the time He wanted, because these numbers are appearing on your trip, at your moments, and at your intersection. I mean, I got to the intersection where the UUY was precisely at the same moment that car arrived, and I've seen this over a 30-year period. So I'm all excited about it, and I thought I would share with you, after hearing that wonderful record and after posting on Facebook and LinkedIn, and already being excited about God confirming. Now He asks me to come and pray and walk and talk with Him, and He gives me these 3 blessings. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you start noticing things like this if you're not already noticing them in your own life too. Okay, I'd like to remind you again, because I've told you on prior shows that you can listen to all 52 or 53 weekly shows anytime you want, in any order you want, on our podcast. They're all listed there for you to use for free. And the way you get there is you just Google a very simple address to remember. So I'm going to give you that so you and your friends can always just go listen to these 52 weeks of recordings anytime you want. And any future recordings will be posted there as well. And so here's what you Google. First, the letter W, which means worldwide. So the letter W, and then CAT, C-A-T. So it's Worldwide CAT is what it means, but all you have to type is WCAT, then radio.com/miracles/. So one more time now. You Google WCAT, that's WCAT, radio.com/miracles/, and then you can listen to any recordings you want to. Our next coincidence miracle has to do with my happy birthday listing. God has inspired me for many, many years now, about 40 years, to keep a list of birthdays of my favorite people, my close friends, and my family members. And so I get inspired often when I notice their birthdays. I mark them on the calendar at the start of every year so I know what dates when I'm looking at the calendar. And so I was inspired recently to send a note, and I always ask God what I should say in the note because He knows what they need to hear on that particular day. So I was sending a note wishing someone a happy birthday, as I typically do, and I was inspired to say very clearly to them that I'm praying right now that you'll have at least one coincidence miracle before the end of the day, since today is your birthday. And when you receive it, you'll know that God is sending you that gift because I'm praying specifically for Him to send you a miracle. And they sent me a text later that day, I think it was about 11 p.m., and they said, Tony, I absolutely got a tremendously wonderful miracle today, and I want to thank you for your prayers. And when it happened, I did remember you sent me the note, and I did recognize, and I did feel the presence of God in a very powerful way. So I encourage you, too, to start a birthday list and then write what God tells you to write to people, because He does this very often. He tells me what to say, and then they experience what I said would happen, and this was one prime example of that. So I hope you might try doing this in your family and with your friends as well. Okay? God bless you all, and I'll talk to you again next week.